Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture what we will do is that we will go ahead and create our very first fragment. So let me just open up the presentation which we had over here. So in this lecture what we will do is that we will create this detailed fragment which is actually going to hold up the details of our items. So let me just go ahead and create a new fragment, and I'll also show you guys how to do that. So in order to create a fragment, what you need to do is that you go on the app folder, go to new. You will have an option here which says fragment, and here we are going to select the blank fragment. And now once you go right over here, you need to specify the fragment name. So let's name this fragment as menu detail fragment, and we are actually going to name this thing as the menu detail fragment because it's actually going to hold up the details of all the menu options which we have. Now as you could see, there are a bunch of options over here which are tick marked. So basically this option states to create the layout XML file. So if you are creating fragments and if you want the XML layout for that particular fragment, what you need to do here is that you need to select this particular option. And after this we have two options here to basically include fragment factory methods and include interface callbacks. So for now we are going to uncheck these options and we are only going to check the create layout XML file, then hit finish. And as you could see, now we have our fragment. So now our fragment, like an activity, also has the Java class and the XML file right here. So right now this thing says a blank fragment, but here what you need to do is that you need to go ahead and add some elements to this particular fragment. So we will go into the XML code of the fragment, and I'll switch on the preview over here. So the first thing which we will do is that we'll convert this into a linear layout. So let me just type in linear over here. So let me just go ahead and type in linear layout. So this is going to be a linear layout, and it's actually going to have the orientation as, let's say, vertical. So let me just go ahead and get rid of this text view, and let me just add our own text view from scratch. So this is going to have the height as wrap content and the width as wrap content as well. Now this is going to be the text view for name. So I'm going to give it an ID as name, and let's go ahead and add another text view, and this is also going to have the height and width as wrap content, and this is going to have an ID as description, as this is actually going to provide the description of the particular item. Okay, so once we have these two text views, we have pretty much designed the fragment over here. Now our next job is to basically add this particular fragment to the main activity. So in order to do that, what we do is that we go to the XML code of the main activity and go to the actual code, get rid of this text view right here, and in order to basically add that fragment, what we will do is that we will type in fragment tag just as we add the text view. And to this fragment tag, what we will do is that we will make the fragment width as match parent and the height to be match parent as well. So as you could see, now the entire fragment fills up the entire main activity. And now one more thing which you need to do here is that you need to specify which particular fragment this actually is. So in order to specify that, what we will do is that we will type in class, and here you need to specify the class as com.example.username.the package name and the fragment which we have created right now. So the fragment which we have created is nothing but the menu detail fragment, and that's what we have added right over here. So once this thing is done, we are pretty much good to go. Now the only thing which you need to do here is that in the menu detail fragments Java class, you need to have a variable which is called as menu ID. So you might be thinking that why do we exactly need this particular variable? So this particular variable, which is the menu ID variable, is going to be of the type long, which is actually going to pass the information to the fragment which specifies which particular list item has been clicked. So in order to save that particular ID, what we will do is that inside this class right here, we will type in private long menu ID, and we basically are going to have a method to set the menu ID. So we will type in set menu ID method, And this is actually going to accept the menu ID, and it's actually going to set the menu ID to the current contact, and it's actually going to set the menu ID. Okay, so once this method is done, we are basically good to go. So in this lecture, what we have done is that we have learned how to create a fragment. So we have created the menu detail fragment. We have added 2 text views to the menu detail fragment. Then after that, we have added the entire fragment itself to the main activity, which spans the entire main activity. And we basically did that by using the fragment tag. And in the fragment tag, you need to specify the class, which basically states which fragment this actually is. And after doing that, what we have done here is that in the menu detail fragment, we have set up the menu ID, and menu ID is nothing but it's the unique ID which is going to tell us that which particular item was clicked. So that's it for this lecture. And in the next lecture, what we will do is that we will play around with the menu ID, and we will also go ahead and learn how to basically set the 2 text views which we have designed right over here. So right now these text views are blank. So what we need to do is that we need to go to the menu class and select an appropriate option so that these text views can be filled up. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.